Okay, simplifying variable expressions. So we're going to work on today. Our learning target for today is students can simplify expressions by combining like terms. So we need to know what those like terms are. You have to be able to find those like terms. And then once you find them, we can combine them. The thing about combining, that means you're going to add or subtract them. You can only combine like terms. If they are not like terms, you cannot add or subtract them. You'd have to leave them with the operation illustrating that's what you want to do, but there's nothing further you can do to simplify. If you need more time to write that down, go ahead. Otherwise, I'm moving on to the next screen. Okay, in example 1, let's just review our identifying parts of an expression. This is very important, and I extremely want to talk about the like terms portion of that. But let's go over our different parts. First, we have our terms here. So our terms are 5x, 7, 4x, and 8. So those are our terms. Now what are our like terms? Our like terms are the ones that have the same variables. So we have 5x and a 4x. So that's 5x and 4x. Those are like terms. They have the same identical variable formation. We also, don't forget, have 7 and 8. Those are also like terms. So that's another set of like terms, 7 and 8. They don't have any variables, so that gives them the same variable formation. They don't have one. So those are our like terms. Alright, now what were our coefficients? Remember, our coefficients are the numbers that are being multiplied to the variable. So our coefficients in this example are 5 and 4. 5x and 4x. 5 was being multiplied to a variable, and 4 was being multiplied to a variable. Now the 7 and 8 don't have any variables with them, so remember, they're called constants. They're just numbers. They have no variables with them. So 7 and 8 is your answer for those. Okay, so those are our parts. Now let's focus on these like terms right here as I move forward into my example 2. Okay? If you need to pause, go ahead. Otherwise, I am moving on to example 2. Alright, in example 2, we have that same problem up again. Remember I said, remember those like terms? We had a 5x and a 4x, and then we had a 7 and an 8. So when we simplify an expression, that means we're going to be combining like terms, adding or subtracting those like terms. Well, we had a 5x, and we're adding 4x to it, okay? 5x plus the 4x there. So how many x's do I have? Well, if I have 5 x's and I add 4 more, that gives me 9 x's total. Okay? So you can see how the 5x and the 4x makes the 9x. Now, look at our constants, our other terms. We had 7 and 8 is our other like terms. Well, I have 7, and you add 8 more. 7 plus 8 is 15. Look, those like terms create 15. We cannot do anything else with those. They are not like terms, so you are done. That is as simplified as you can do it right now. 9x plus 15. Until we know what x is, we cannot move forward. And that's your answer. Okay, and B. So let's look at our like terms. I have a 4n. And then I'm subtracting an n. Remember, there's a 1 in front of there. Okay, if there's no number, that means we only have one of them. That's why we just put the n. 1n and n are the same thing. So if I have 4 n's and I subtract, see how there's that minus sign in front, I subtract an n. If I have 4, I subtract 1, that now leaves me with 3 n's. Okay, now let's look at my other constants. I have 9, okay, and I subtract 7. 9 minus 7 is 2. So the 9 minus 7 gives us 2. So that's 3n plus 2. I can't do anything with that because they are not like terms, so I am done. So you're just looking and combining like terms. Okay, so find the amount of terms that you have. In this first example A, I have my x's I combine, and then my constants. In example B, I combine my n's, and then my constants there. Okay, if you need to pause, go ahead. Otherwise, I'm moving on to example 3. In example 3, we're going to simplify expressions with parentheses. So this, remember guys, is the distributive property. If we have the distributive property in there, we need to do that first. So the first thing I'm going to do is distribute the 2 to the x. That's 2x. Plus, I multiply the 2 times the 8. That is 2 times the 4, which is 8. Now I can add the rest. Okay, so the distributive property first, then I just have the plus 9x minus 1. Now I have a problem like I just did. I have 2 x's, add 9 more. 2 plus 9 is 11. I now have 11 x's. I have 8, and then I subtract 1. 8 minus 1 is 7, so it's plus 7, so I get 11x plus 7, and that is how I get my answer. Okay, if you need to go back and watch anything, go ahead. Otherwise, have a great night, and I'll see you tomorrow.